paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes,
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason. Get ready for a brain changer. Tonight's guests coming in from not Chicago, sipping out of a pint thingy from a Chinese restaurant. It's Cass Lynn.
Woo!
Coming in from actual Chicago on a train, which is an infrastructure that America needs more of. It's Jason Alt.
I don't like this intro at all. What are you doing?
Can I try it? Can I try this intro? Can we all do our own spin on it?
And your host, me. I have been here the whole time. This is Brainstorm Brewery, the only podcast that copies other intros when Corbin is gone and the cast needs a recurring bit. I am your host / not host, DJ Douglas J. Johnson, and I am here without Corbin to do a podcast about Magic the Gathering.
All right, that was pretty good. Cass, what do you got?
DJ actually got it. He got he saved it in like the back half. The first part he really stumbled with.
He saw my face and he's like, I better get my shit together.
Well, I don't think Jason gets the reference. I think that's the problem.
Jason should get the reference. It's a show that he would very much enjoy.
I agree that Jason would love watching Game Changer on Dropout, the premium subscription service that is worth every penny. Formerly College Humor, now Dropout.
How much are they paying you? You guys
They're
talk about
not.
Dropout a lot.
It is literally the best. It's like what, $40 a year or something, $50 a year.
48, I think.
Yeah, and it is all the best parts of College Humor, and also Dimension 20's on it. Game Changer is like the best comedy concept show I've seen ever, maybe.
Make Some Noise is a derivative of that.
Make Some Noise is just like a better version of Whose Line.
I mean, to be fair, anything's better than, I don't know. I just knowing how easy improv is and how hard it looks just kind of pisses me off. It's not real comedy.
That's so funny of you to say, Jason. That's the funniest thing you've ever said on this podcast.
Good, I saved the good stuff for after episode 500.
Parentheses derogative.
Jason, what is a podcast if not improving with your homies at the computer?
I mean, being funny spontaneously is not improv. Improv is not being funny. Improv is like, okay, I gotta remember the bathtub's a banana, so I gotta make a banana reference. Like, improv sucks.
Jason?
What?
I will run at you like a lowland gorilla. I will show you why God fears
And
the
then I'll
devil.
say freeze, and you'll have to be a different animal. Improv sucks.
We are.
If I started
back.
beating you, you can't say no. You gotta say yes and.
We are back from Chicago. Corbin is jet lagged and/or.
Chicago, the home of improv comedy. Get out of here. Fuck Second City. Twice.
You are firing all of these volleys as a stand-up comedian, right? Like,
No,
you do
for
realize,
failed stand-up comedian.
Right, so, like, in your eyes, like, improv's here, and, like, you're sitting on, like, your cheeks are directly pressed onto the...
Oh, yeah.
You realize that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Punching down into
And
the
see, you
urinal
can only
cakes.
punch... When you are king of Turd Mountain, you can
Jason
only
is
punch down.
firmly grasping the urinal cakes.
Yeah.
Speaking of ripping it, taking bits and ripping it, y'all seen these new spoilers?
You got to be more specific. They spoiled 5 different sets in Chicago.
Let's go with the one that's soonest in chronological order. Y'all see these Fallout spoilers?
I did. I had people offer Fallout cards to me at the event. I didn't know they existed.
They had collector boosters they were giving out. I was given a collector booster and instructed to give it to the person who killed me.
Were you a part of the murder mystery game?
No.
Or
I did not do anything official except use my press badge to get into the Black Lotus Lounge and take Pepsi.
Are you a Pepsi guy or a Diet Pepsi guy?
I
Because one of those is embarrassing, and one of them is only a little embarrassing.
I mean, my wife drinks Diet Pepsi, and I'm like, you're the only person who drinks Diet Pepsi. Right?
Diet Pepsi sucks.
Diet Pepsi sucks. Thank you. I married a lunatic.
Okay. Keep it classy with a DC.
Just drink beer. Right?
No. I drink...
Like
so on
if it's
on
too
Friday,
early
I
in
went
the
to,
day to start drinking liquor, don't drink Diet Pepsi. Drink beer.
I went to a dear friend's birthday party on Friday. We all, as a community, pulled together to get them a bunch of Tundras. It was a couple who celebrate their birthday together. I had a single Mountain Dew spiked Mountain Dew Baja Blast, and then someone gave me like a tall boy of Mountain Dew Livewire that was spiked. I drank like half the tall boy, and I got home and I was hungover for like 48 hours. I do not drink alcohol.
That's malt liquor. You drink malt liquor.
Yeah. It ruined my life, dude.
That's like the crocodile of drinks. Right? Like, it'll get the job done, but like...
The Livewire one's really tasty. The Baja Blast one is unplayable.
Some of those Mountain Dew spiked things, I just got a headache. I didn't get a buzz.
Yeah.
It was brutal. What are you doing, Mountain Dew? Test that.
Test that. What,
Test it on
bread?
humans. I paid
The Mountain Dew
to test
Corporation...
Yeah.
The Mountain Dew Corporation distributed malt liquor at fraternities. It's like a CIA distributing crack situation.
that. Oh yeah. It's a non-alcoholic thing that is like, oh, my head's, I'm hammered right now, but it's like you're just dizzy from like particulate.
Now I'm just thinking about like George Bush sweating about a bunch of Dr. Pepper on a plane going to Iran.
Honestly, yeah, if we wanted to fuck up the Middle East, we would drop our food. Don't drop bombs, drop food, and they're like, Pop-Tarts!
We have historical precedent that doesn't work, because after we f***ed up Korea, we left behind Spam and American cheese, and they did things like that we could never f***ing imagine.
Yeah, they
They just adapted it and incorporated it like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now you go to Hawaii and they're like, we eat musubi on purpose, and you're like, that can't be good.
Musubi's so good,
It's
dude.
So good. Why? Why is it
Because
so good?
It's Spam and rice and like seaweed and then something else sometimes.
I guess if Asians can make tofu taste good, the only tofu I've had that's been any good was at an Asian place. So like, if you can do that with tofu, you could probably do it with Spam, which at least has a nice texture.
Mapo tofu is one of the greatest dishes on earth, so that just like makes sense.
Yeah. But speaking of food, Chicago was crazy. I
I
started
had deep dish style pizza for the first time.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Fine casserole. Fine.
It's a good
lasagna.
casserole. So
It's good.
the real Chicago style pizza is the thin crust tavern cut, where like you just cut it in straight lines, and then you got those every piece has a different shape, and half of it doesn't have any crust to hold on to.
Yeah,
That's
when
Chicago style pizza.
When I went to the restaurant and asked the waitress for the deep dish, I was like, I get whatever the thing is that I'm supposed to get that I'm supposed to hate as a New Yorker, and she's like, okay, it's not Chicago style. That's not what everyone here gets. But I'll get you the stuff deep dish thing. And so I had it, and it was fine. It was, to quote Jon Stewart, tomato soup in a bread bowl.
Tomato soup in a bread bowl sounds delicious.
But like
it
with
was pretty
so
good.
much cheese in it, though.
Yeah.
I saw an Italian at our booth talking to one of my coworkers about deep dish pizza, and that was his main. He's like, it's so cheesy, so cheesy. Like, just that was living in his head, playing over and over, like I'm Vietnam with PTSD, like so much cheese.
It's like seeing helicopters in the background and guys shooting a machine gun yelling, "It's cheesy!"
Y'all been turned on to this Detroit style pizza yet?
Detroit style pizza is the
Jason's-
best.
Yeah, I was gonna
It's
say,
so
Jason's been
good.
making that for years.
Yeah.
So it's just a cast iron pan. That's the only difference. Because
Yeah.
in Detroit they had
It's
like
a
a ton of
square.
cast iron pans left over.
Yeah, because some dude's
From,
like,
like-
this was for holding bolts in a garage. What if we put
Exactly.
pizza in it? And yeah.
It turned out
Turns
great,
out-
and you get like a super crispy crust. You get like that fluffy dough because the dough's a little bit thicker. You get like just the right amount of toppings.
They butter. They take
Yeah.
a dirty automotive pan and they just butter it to death. And then you put the pizza dough in there, and every single square inch of the outside of the pizza on the edge is
Buttered.
caramelized, buttery, cheesy goodness.
I'm sold.
And it's a high hydration dough, so it's fluffy.
Like, if you have a
if I've had
Jets
that before.
pizza near you, that is like the Pizza Hut of Detroit-style pizza, and Jets is perfectly acceptable.
There's also a pretty commonly found frozen brand of Detroit pizza that's like B+ as far as frozen pizzas go, and it's like a good intro to the genre.
Intro to the genre.
The genre of a big, pillowy, real thick slice of pizza that's got a nice, crispy edge on it.
Yeah, I'm here for it. You sold me. You're the first 10 seconds when you said automotive parts. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
DJ loves his nuts and
had,
his bolts.
DJ's more machine than man now after all his injuries.
True.
Getting there.
It's nuts and bolts. That's the perfect pizza for a cyborg. Detroit pizza, perfect for a cyborg. They up having RoboCop eat baby food instead of Detroit-style pizza.
Detroit become pizza. That's right there.
Food.
RoboCop ate baby food in the movie RoboCop. Did you see the
Jason,
movie
you know
RoboCop?
that I've never seen RoboCop.
You've not seen RoboCop? I didn't see it until like 2 or 3 weeks ago. You've not seen RoboCop, DJ? What the f*** wrong with you? How can you live in 2024 without having seen RoboCop?
I love
I saw
RoboCop
the
so
discourse
much.
on it
I
about
wrote
how,
lyrics for the theme song.
I only watch inherently political movies, and I saw a bunch of discourse about how it's not political.
Yeah, that
You're
was
talking about Starship
That's
Troopers.
Verhoeven's other movie that's not at all political.
That discourse was uniquely funny because like that's the shining example of like the most obvious one.
But I couldn't do that. If you said, "Hey, pretend you're a guy who missed the point and write a video essay," like I couldn't. I'm not smart enough to be that dumb, and that it's upsetting.
You know, if you worked on your skills at improvising, maybe you could get there.
Yes, and I would love to move on to talking more about.
I was gonna say you're not smart enough to be that dumb to get my breaking bulk.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
That's a great transition, buddy.
I know a thing or two about those. DJ, what's your breaking bulk?
It is a Cons of Tarkir green common, and I will be confounded if you get it. I will be.
Is this the guy who looks at face down creatures?
No.
Green common or green uncommon?
Green common, black accessible. I will be bamboozled. I will be in
So
awe,
it's not the
slack-jawed.
Manadork then.
It's Awaken the Bear.
Not Awaken the Bear.
Cons.
I know this set so well, and that's why I'm like gonna be mad if I don't get it. It's
Well,
not
that's
Smoke
like-
Teller.
Is not.
Is it? Does it have a weird creature type, like Quasit or something like that?
It's not a Rakshasha, probably. There is like a. I think
Oh,
there's.
I will add an addendum. This is technically a promo that shortens the list a lot.
Is it also technically a promo, or is it only a promo?
It is only technically a promo, like the promo version of this card from Cons of Tarkir.
This is technically an illegal pick.
Can I? This is definitely an illegal pick, but
That's fair.
I'm gonna pull up the full Cons of Tarkir spoiler, and I realize there's gonna be an asterisk if I get it, but I gotta get this for
That's
me.
fine.
This is for me, people. Sometimes you gotta do things for pride.
I understand. This is technically and I double checked this to make sure it was a pick, and I apologize. I did not realize that only the promo version of this was a pick. Which
Is it
does
Savage
change that.
Punch?
No.
Hooting Mandrills or Become Immense?
No.
Fuck.
Hooting Mantrolls would have been very obvious. I don't think it would have been that.
Okay, wait. What commons are left in the set? Is it mono green?
Yes.
Is it a fucking
Tusk-
token, sir?
Tusk
It's not
Guard
token.
Captain?
I would not. If it was a token, I would have just said Cons token.
Wait. Okay. Oh my god, the way they have this broken up. Okay.
You say that, DJ, and then anytime you actually
Dragon
get in that
Scale
situation,
Boon? Because the fucking like Lunar New Year promos?
It is the Ugin's Fate promo, and the guy's arms are glowing, and
That card is not in Cons of Tarkir.
that is a fair assessment of that pick.
That card is That card is firmly not in Khans of Tarkir.
I mean, the card itself is in Khans of Tarkir.
Oh my god, it's
If you're
Khans of
saying- If
Tarkir.
you're saying my pick is a promo is not in Khans of Tarkir, sure. But
It is
card
a
itself-
different. It is a different printing though.
I would love to go.
It's not a
back to
Khans of Tarkir promo. It's technically related to Fate Reforged, which is actually when the Ugin's Fate cards came out. If you had said it was a Fate Reforged promo common, then it would have been a fair game. Ipso
has a
facto,
con-
get.
It has a KTK in the bottom left corner, and
But it
Khans of
also
Tarkir
says Ugin's Fate.
It does.
DJ, we will not be accepting any points for you at this time. In fact, actually, we're going to dock 2 points off you. And my breaking bulk is a common
from Fallout.
from Crimson Vow.
Oh, what?
Instruct Crimson Vow.
That's a really long time ago for you. What color is it?
Red common from
End
Crimson
the
Vow.
festivities.
Yeah, card's like $3 now.
Yikes, Rooney, that's crazy.
It is one of the most important cards in Standard for beating Red White Convoke.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cards like-
Apparently the foil double feature of this is $12.
Yep.
Backed up by a Star City Games buy list price of $7.
Yep.
On a card that doesn't even look red. Unreal.
Correct.
It looks very Rakdos, though.
Yeah, this is very firmly $3 and consistently selling at TCG Direct $2.99.
Tight.
It's good. I mean, yeah.
So he's playing Pioneer now, too, for whatever it's worth, to beat the Convoke deck there as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm way into it. That's a fun card. And you've definitely got these in bulk, I bet. If you played back
Millions, for sure, yeah.
then.
If
Yeah.
you opened any boxes of that set, you were disappointed and went to go drink and forgot every card in the box. It's in a cardboard, the original little cardboard in your closet. You went to go drink that awful Chicago-style...
Malort.
It's called
Sure.
Malort, and put some respect on its name, all right?
It's fine.
I was, my buddy Seaburn gave me barrel-aged Malort, and that was so smooth it took a lot of the botanical taste out of it, and you got a real sour, bitter finish. But
I interacted
it was
with a lot of
refreshing.
customers who were consuming it as a tourist stop, and you are the only person who enjoyed it out of every person I interacted with.
Oh,
It
well,
kind of tastes like gasoline, but like not in
Yeah.
a bad way.
it's like if somebody
Not in a bad
dissolved
way.
Band-Aids in gasoline.
You know, like when you're hanging out at a gas station filling up your car, you kind of like smell the gasoline and it smells kind of good.
You know, if you're in a doctor's office and there's a tray of stuff with like cotton
Yeah.
balls and Band-Aids and isopropyl alcohol, and you just put all that in your mouth.
You know, antifreeze
Malort.
smells really good.
Oh yeah, because it's got a bunch of sweet,
Yeah.
like what is it? I can't think of it. It's a glycerate, I think.
Malort's got the chemicals that your brain craves.
You know how plants crave Gatorade? It's like...
They crave Brondo.
Yeah, Brondo's got electrolytes.
That's what they crave.
That's what
and
plants-
your bulk craves you looking through it to find those
and
end of festivities.
I crave you guys picking my breaking bulk that has 2 printings, but it's still $1 on Card Kingdom. This card, originally printed in Dominaria, is colorless.
Damping Sphere?
Nope.
Is it the Power Stone?
That's more than $1.
Joyra's thing that makes artifacts cost
Oh,
less.
familiar.
Historic spells cost less.
Well,
Joy's familiar.
I can't give it to you because DJ said Joras and Cass said familiar, so neither one of you gets the points. They're $1, folks. Stop putting these in your bulk. Dr. Madison Lee is going to be the most popular commander out of that deck, and all your energy stuff is in play
This
now.
really only has... Wow, this really does only have 2 printings, doesn't
2
it? I thought
printings.
this
It's unreal.
It's like Jumpstart Dominaria, right?
No, it's Dominaria Double Masters.
This
Oh,
seems
wow.
like the kind of card to get peppered into a million different commander decks along the way,
Yeah.
and it has not.
And it just has... I mean, they'll put Ethereum Sculptor in a bunch of decks. That's what they do, you know?
Maybe because the word historic is something they don't want to put in too many products. That might actually be the reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean...
that is a lot of bookkeeping for a new player.
But also,
Oh,
like...
is this historic? Is this
It
a
looks
crime?
fine
Is
with
this...
but it has reminder text on it.
That's true.
Right, but that's still like a lot of... I don't know, like...
It's just another concept to throw at a player buying a 100 card precon.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like I think it's
I-
correct to not put it in them. I'm just we're figuring out why. You know.
But if a card has reminder text, as someone who plays new games sometimes, reminder text is good keywords, not as good.
Sure.
Which does boggle me how they keep adding keywords that don't do anything and they just name abilities like, oh, this guy has straight shooter, and it like doesn't actually explain what the card does. It's just a very obscure reference that six people get.
It's a flavor keyword or whatever. I think those are like a net positive for the game. People are like, especially in Lord of the Rings, people were like excited about them.
I think they're correct when used scarcely, or more scarcely than they are now.
Well, if it's a line of text in italics on the card, and then it says what it is, like they started in the D&D stuff, like, whatever, man. Call whatever their ability. Give their abilities a name. Whatever, dude. That's cool. But don't keyword the stuff.
It makes people feel immersed.
Yeah,
Sure.
but like there was this thing in design. They're like, we need 4 new keyword abilities every set, and when we go back to Ravnica, we had 10 keyword abilities in Ravnica, but guess what? We need 10 more, and some of them play nice with the old one, and some of them don't. And if you're trying to build a god deck with that, with all the Ravnica stuff, there's not enough to service either keyword. But if they'd put both keywords in both sets, you could have had enough cards with Cypher. It's whatever.
One of the cards actually, it's sort of weirdly goes really well with a sort of an evergreen mechanic now is Surveil, and Disinformation Campaign is a card I'm actually a really big fan of. You can just play a land Surveil and pick up your Disinformation Campaign. That's sick.
I'm a very big fan of cards that just come back for free for doing game actions. I know it's a very old, specific, useless boomer example, but Veilborn Ghoul was a card I was very, very big on that never got popular because Sphinx's Revelation is a hell of a Magic card.
Yeah.
And Veilborn Ghoul was just like cards in your hand to throw away to Faithless Looting.
Yeah.
I always like that concept of like, oh, if you're just doing game actions anyway, I'll just use Disinformation Campaign, and that is a true bulk common uncommon. You can buy a brick.
Not enough people play Ghost Town. It hit like $4 at one point, but it's back down already. It's a Tempest uncommon. There aren't a lot of Ghost Towns out there, but if you're playing Landfall and you don't have Ghost Town in your deck, what the f are you even doing with your life?
These people are paying $60 for Nabora, but they're not want to buy a Ghost Town.
They want to buy a Ghost Town, yeah.
That card has 0 reprints, by the way.
Yep,
Yeah.
Tempest only.
Speaking of discarding cards like you would to Faithless Looting, bad segue, but WotC spoiled what has to be my favorite Magic card in like the last decade for the Modern Horizons 3 spoilers. Psychic Frog. I don't know if y'all have seen this one.
That's Carmen's card that she designed, right?
I believe she said she did on Twitter.
It plays in current Modern like old Psychotog felt like it played. It's unreal how she managed to capture the spirit of Psychotog in this format where everything's ridiculous.
And it's like the fact that it also has like the Shadow Mage Infiltrator nod on it is really like beautiful touch. This card actually is going to relate to my pick of the week later when we get to it. But I'm just like so excited. Horizon sets obviously have a lot of negative charge to them because like, oh, Ragavan, Ruined Legacy, Modern, Solitude's busted, who cares?
And
there's a lot of really cool cards in those sets.
It's
sure.
EDH mess. Everyone says it's for Modern, but Modern gets 5 cards and EDH gets 30.
That's cool. I don't know.
Some cards are cool in both. Like, but no, I like that. They're like, we are going to mix Modern up a little bit, right, and give it some new power, but we're not going to make 200 cards just for Modern. Like, this is a good place to put new EDH stuff.
It's like honestly probably a good thing if they shake Modern up and make half the cards currently playable unviable because Modern sucks right now. Like I think it was Justin Gennari actually. I am actually level 1 on Twitter. He said like the standard way to shake up formats is printing new cards, not bans. And like Modern Horizons is a great example of that. And like obviously I get why players are upset because they have to like buy $400 in new cards every 2 years for their Modern collection at least. But also like we could just play Rhinos versus Yawgmoth versus Titan forever, and that doesn't sound particularly interesting to me.
Let's throw a Hogak in the mix every 5 years. Let's do it.
And the Cascade problem itself is just pointing out a very big design issue that is like converted mana costs being so weirdly high. And like mana cost being high is not the issue. Mana cost not mattering feels like the issue, I guess.
Too many modal cards, if I think is how I'd describe it.
I don't even
Too
know
many
if it's
cards.
modal cards. Like, I feel like being able to Violent Outburst when all of your deck actually costs 1 or 0, like Solitude,
Exactly.
Leyline Binding, Murktide, is, like, not okay. Like,
Those are all modal cards.
Oh, you're calling Murktide and Leyline a modal card?
Well,
sure, like, that's fine.
Not those two, but like Solitude is a modal card, right? It's a free spell that you lose a card to, or it's a 5-mana spell that you also get a body. Like, Brazen Borrower is a modal card. It's 2 spells, right?
Yeah.
Right.
All these things that actually cost, like, one of the reasons why Beanstalk was so problematic was, like,
Yes. You're not paying
all my
5
cards
mana
cost
for your card.
0 or 5. And the real answer is just, like, you just ban Violent Outburst, and the Cascade cards are never a problem again, but also, like, Rhinos sucks. It's miserable to play against. It's not that interesting to play, but, like, there's probably a billion solutions for it other than banning Outburst, and I'm sure they're going to think about those before they jump to banning Outburst.
So just putting Lelia the Blade Reforged, another EDH card, into Modern, is that a hint as to Violent Outburst's end? Because the interaction between those two cards.
So, to be clear, I'm almost 100% certain there's going to be a Fury in this set as a special guest card, because we got a Solitude spoiler. So, like, I don't think they were thinking that far ahead with that kind of thing.
That is a good point.
It's one of those things where it's like, lol if it's in the set, and also lol if it's not, you know?
Sure.
Yes, well, it is very funny either way.
But
At least they don't have to
Lelia's-
put Urabrask in a reprint set every time they need a red mythic. It's either that or Comet Storm.
Lelia is one of those cards where it's like, is she meaningfully better than Murktide in the Rhinos deck? And it's a
I
hard
don't
question.
know.
Yeah, that's the
have
thing.
That is not my expertise.
The thing that has me concerned about the Cascade cards is they're printing another cycle of free spells.
Haven't they learned? There are 2 things that always fuck up Magic and always make them make bans: purple mana and free spells.
I
And
mean,
they keep
of the
doing both.
10 free spells in Modern right now, one of them is banned.
Wait, so what is the second cycle? Is Flare of Cultivation, is that a cycle confirmed?
It's going to be a cycle, yeah.
Okay. Flare of Cultivation being the card you can sacrifice a non-token green creature rather than pay this spell's mana cost, and then it is Cultivate. Notably, I heard somebody going off about this with Arboreal Grazer, where you turn 1 Arboreal Grazer, play your land, play this for free, and now you have 3 lands tapped on your board on turn 1, which is interesting.
That is the Modern answer. But the Legacy answer is you play Veteran Explorer on 1, you sack it. You have, like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4... You have 5 lands on turn 2? Now we're cooking.
Those are rookie numbers. You gotta get those numbers up. You need 3 other players' turns to burgeoning on.
In addition to all of that.
In addition to all that. Yeah, why not? Have no
I'm just
lands in
saying.
your deck by turn 2.
What if they put Veteran Explorer in the set? That'd be awesome. That would actually be, like, the coolest thing they could do with this card in the set.
I don't think Veteran Explorer would ruin Modern.
No, probably not. I mean, the card is very strong, to be clear.
Well, I think Veteran Explorer is very good from a standpoint of it makes people play more basics.
Yeah.
If you're playing 5-color soupy nonsense and your opponent plays Veteran Explorer and you have no basics in your deck, like,
You whiff.
that's awesome.
I got 2 islands in my sideboard.
It's also, like, Explorer is much worse without Green Sun Zenith and Cabal Therapy around to
And
enable
therapy,
it.
for sure, yeah. Because there's no
But,
like,
like-
good free 0-mana sack outlet currently.
There's also no
That's what
Phyrexian
brings us
Tower.
to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this card plus Veteran Explorer could be, like, a cool thing. And obviously we don't know if Veteran Explorer is in the set or not, but, like, I would personally be excited about that as somebody who loves Nick Fit on a spiritual level, but never actually have to play it.
I have registered a birthing pod at a legacy event, I will say that.
Yeah.
The closest I got to Nick Fit was putting, like, Gerard's Verdict in Vindicate in a green-white deck in Legacy.
Right after the Sensei's top ban, I spent a lot of time playing, like, Sultai Nick Fit lists on Moto with 2 Consecrated Sphinxes and 4 Jaces. Just, like, Baleful Strix, Brainstorm Ponder, Jaces, Consecrated Sphinxes, like, Black Removal, Veteran Explorers, Cabal Therapy, Zenith. It was awesome.
That's just Team America with Consecrated Sphinx instead of, what's his
Yeah.
name? The 5/5 black creature.
Tombstalker.
Tombstalker.
It's like that, but way cooler.
Yeah. It's actually hilarious to play Consecrated Sphinx in a format with Brainstorms.
It's so much worse now because if your opponent plays a Bowmaster, it's like, do I really want to draw these cards?
Oh no, I'm good. I'll play
Okay, so
Brainstorm, you're dead.
We went over Psychic Frog, we went over Flare of Cultivation, Lelia. What about Emrakul? Cass, tell me that you can play Underworld Cookbook in Modern.
So this card, Everything people are asking about it, like, is this card enableable? Read the first line of text on that card. When you cast the spell, gain control of all creatures target player controls. That is an insanely strong line of text. It's not till end of turn. You just gain control of them until Emrakul dies, because Emrakul makes you sack all your creatures when she dies, or when she leaves the battlefield. If you're paying 12 mana for this card, it's like maybe good enough in Tron. Like it stabilizes the board basically no matter what. If you ever have a way to pay 6 mana for this card, like, I don't know, play 3 Urza's lands, play Underworld Cookbook, discard Emrakul, cast Emrakul. Card is like, the payoff is there. The question is not necessarily how we enable it. Like, there's a million ways to enable it.
Let me remind people that madness is flash.
Yeah.
Madness can be done on their turn, which you may not want to do because then it's your turn again, and then you can get your Emrakul Solitude on the attack. But, like, still, like, passing the turn does do weird things with this card's protection, but...
You can never get your Emrakul Solitude, right?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Also, it doesn't die to Leyland Binding or Solitude, or it doesn't get bounced by a Teferi they just played, and there's just like WotC's not stupid. People love to think WotC's stupid. They're not going to put a new Emrakul in a set without having it be super strong.
We love to think they put Felidar Guardian in the same block as Saheeli.
Let's ask.
Hey, Jason, they have 30 more employees working on designing cards. Shut the fuck.
I was going to say, WotC can be stupid while the game designers can be smart. Like there are plenty of departments at Wizards that are just huffing the glue, but I will say the game designing team that are actually making the cards are doing God's work.
You know what other card is designed really well is a Johnny, Nakatl Pariah. Someone pointed out on Twitter that the half that you want to die is the side that dies to Bowmaster.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Just like casting a Johnny, cast your own Bowmaster maybe if you want to flip.
I realized this card was printed in 2008, but Kasali Prime Mage does flip it.
That is true. There's like a weird emphasis on cats on this card that's like kind of cool. Maybe we just get like a deck that actually has enough cats in it to matter.
I don't think that's
how you know that
like
they're doing
No.
pre-constructed decks for this set.
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, the game designers are smart, and they know that somebody just made a cat secret lair, cats and dogs, and that there is a very clear on-ramp here, like there was in Amonkhet, where they made Commander 2017 cats, and then Amonkhet had Regal Caracal and friends. Like there was very much a let's on-ramp these people into the formats that they might spend more booster packs on, not just Commander.
See, I want a secret layer with like Lightning Greaves and Feline Sovereign. You could call it Boots and Cats.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing it.
Cass was here to pick up on that because I was...
DJ,
I'm
did you get a Boots and Cats reference?
You're like the electronic music guy.
Yeah, right?
I like the noises it makes in my brain. That doesn't mean I've delved any deeper than that.
You need to be more online, sir.
I thought you were going to say autistic.
I don't want you to be more autistic. Why would I want that?
This is completely unrelated to everything we've been talking about. One of my favorite tweets is, it's like Kanye West : God says I have to get more divorced. And it just like runs through my head 20, 30 times a day.
He's the second most divorced guy on the planet.
Correct. You want to talk about fetch lands?
I would like to talk about fetch lands. Fetches, I mean, we all knew fetches were coming in this set. I don't think anybody was blindsided by this or
I was.
away.
I was.
Okay, everyone except Jason. We all kept the secret really well, but now, I mean, the curtain's up and...
Surprise!
Yeah, surprise!
We threw a surprise fetch land party for you.
We got you retro ones and borderless ones and regular border ones and anime ones and...
I will say I love that they did the artwork in the style of like different planes like they did with the secret layer enemy fetches.
Yeah, how Verdict Catacombs on Innistrad and then Scalding Tarn is on Zendikar, I think.
Yeah. The new Bloodstained Mire is on like New Phyrexia after Elishnorn's gone or whatever. Like the Winsopith is on Underground and Ixalan. Yeah, that makes me happy.
It gives players, again, it gives players an on-ramp. Somebody, and I realize Horizon sets are not exactly for the brand new player opening up their first booster pack and taking your baby steps, but if somebody has a Flooded Strain in a binder, or if somebody just sees it in a display case, it gives them an on-ramp to the lore of Magic. Like, a once prosperous Vantress. Wait, what is Vantress? What's Eldraine? Oh, Fairy Tales. I like fairies. Like, there are just so many spiderwebs of connections that are opened up by not just slapping the KTKR on all of these.
It's also one of those things where, like, even established players have a reason to care about this. Like, let's say I have a Kutzil Malamet flanker deck or whatever. Which Winslow Heath am I going to buy?
What did you just say? What?
That was Corbin's pick at their breaking bulk last week or something. Isn't it like the Kutzil, Malamet flanker? He's the something like that. He's the green white legend uncommon from Rival Ixalan, the new one, Caverns of Ixalan.
Oh, right, I remember. Yeah, this is the card you almost registered.
Yeah, but like, let's say you have that deck, you're gonna get the one that has Ixalan art on it if you're an established player.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's also gonna be the cheapest one, so that works out great.
I think these will be roughly the same price.
Yeah. Especially Winslow Heath is a weird one, because like it has the extra printing.
Yeah.
Of note, the Judge fetch lands, the Judge allied fetch lands are going to be worth nothing.
They're dead. They're so dead.
I think they look really cool, so I might actually take an opportunity to get a couple.
Judge fetches are dead. Onslaught fetches are on life support.
Do we like that?
OG Onslaughts, I think, if like actual Onslaught fetches, I think are fine.
So I think that is a thing, because, you know, an axiom that we all spouted early in this game was invest in real estate. But increasingly, it looks like that's something they look to refresh with reprintings fairly periodically, just to make some of the formats like not inaccessible to $100 fetches. So
yeah,
that's fun.
I guess if the older ones can retain some of their value, we can have it both ways a little bit.
We've said a long time that it's very good for the game for there to be the $10 version of the card, the $50 version, and then the $100 version. It's very bad for the game for the $800 version to exist, and then for Wizards to specifically kneecap that one, which happened with the One Ring. It happened with a lot of 7th edition and Old Border foils like No Mercy or Defense Grid, Wild Growth, Wrath of God. Those Old Border specific reprints really hurt the long-term collectability of the game. I think Judge fetches are kind of just taking shrapnel and collateral damage from this. Like, there's no way for them to reprint these in a meaningful way that doesn't hit allied Judge fetches. That is just... That was going to happen no matter what. I think the Old Border foils are hanging on by life support, again, because they are making retro foils of these, which hurts, but at least the art is different. That is what I was saying.
No customer who was going to buy a foil Polluted Delta from Onslaught was ever going to consider buying a Cons foil or a Modern Horizons 3 foil. They're just like different customers. Like, Onslaught Polluted Delta is not $100 right now because it's the one that someone had available. So like it's more than double the price of a Cons one. Like, I don't think that the price of Onslaught foil Polluted Delta is meaningfully affected by this.
I don't know if that's entirely true because of the behavior I've seen in Roan Shocklands with the same exact situation. Like, I've seen a lot of players move out of original Shocklands, their Dissension foils, their Ravnica foils, and get like either Galaxy Unfinity or specifically Ravnica Remastered Old Border foils. Like, hey, take my Dissension Guild Pact ones. I want to upgrade, air quotes, to the Retro Border foils.
I think that original Shocklands and original Fetchlands foils are just like very different products. Like, Polluted Delta foil is like $2,000 or something, isn't it? It's like $1,000.
That we're not getting more of them. No matter what they do, we're not getting more Odyssey.
And like the most
Onslaught?
expensive OG Shockland was like what, $400 before this? 500, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
With very different classes of assets in that regard, and also like there are way more options for Shocklands than there are for Fetchlands. Like, your options for nice Polluted Deltas are like Expedition, Onslaught,
Rising Expedition.
That's not a nice version. Like those are like all the replacement level ones, right? Like there's only 2 nice ones, and like for Shocklands,
the best shocks are from an unset, if you ask me.
Like, the nice Shocklands have always been Expedition and OG, right? But there's just like 6 other versions of Shocklands. in addition.
Yeah, there's serialized ones now.
Yeah.
Are there serialized fetches?
If there are, it's...
If there
Imagine
are,
trying to get the numbers to line up, too.
I don't know. I don't see the kind of person who owns a foil Onslaught Pluto Delta giving a shit about any other version of the card.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. So
I think it's just the kind of customer who engages with those. Like, it's really weird too because like I think any other cards I would not believe that, but original fetches just look so different than every other one, right? Like Ravnica City of Guilds foil Sacred Foundry doesn't look that much different than Return to Ravnica foil Sacred Foundry.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you have a cube, and that's where I think a lot of these cards are ending up, you'll want everything to match and you'll want everything to be the oldest possible. Because if you're doing a cube, you want your cube to be perfect. And
some players want
you should leave it at home also. Don't take your cube to an event, you idiot. Like, I don't know. Have people over. I can't fathom people carrying around $100,000 like in a quiver. It's wild. We played Proxy Guy's cube in Chicago because he's like, it doesn't matter if someone steals this, it's all proxies. And
I remember
good.
Like a decade ago, Eric Klug carried around a proxied version of his peasant cube because he had his actual peasant cube foiled out. And like, it just really boggles the mind that someone would do that. Would bring their $100,000 cube with them.
Yeah.
But also, I was thinking about this. Like, it's like my cube has like an altered Mox. You can't fence an altered Mox. Like, everybody knows whose it is. Some of those things are just like, they're going to be so tough to move that, like, even if you stole it, like, what would you do with it?
Magic cards are more liquid than that. I think even an altered Mox is not too hard to move.
I think there's a lot of people who will look the other way and buy that anyways.
Yeah.
But
because
then,
they know
like,
the price will be right.
Yeah, that's fine, but like, if enough people, I don't know. It just seems like the kind of thing. It's like paying at a convenience store with a $100 bill that still has some of the die pack on it from the bank, you know, like.
It's definitely worse, which is probably why people are willing to buy it, is because they know they can get it for a lot less.
Yeah.
Like, if someone comes up to you with, like, an obviously stolen Mox, and you're the sort of person who doesn't have the scruples to, like, you know, do something about it, you're going to offer that person, like, $600 less than you probably should, and then, like, I don't know, try and sell it quietly. Like, that's what a shady person would do,
You can also
right?
just, like, leave it at, I mean, now we're just kind of advising those kind of people, but, like, you can just leave it in a vault for a year and everyone will forget, right? Like, there's...
Right. It's even more reason to not bring your valuables like that to a convention, especially in a cube where 7 other people are going to be handling your cards. Like, if I was the only one handling them, I could trust that.
Plus, they were selling alcohol in
show.
Chicago. This is the first event where we've had beers at tables, and guess what? Beers got knocked over on tables.
Every show we've seen a Reddit post where somebody's car gets broken into.
Yep.
Like, it's gonna happen no matter what, and we're gonna say no matter what, but don't leave your stuff in cars, don't leave your backpack unlooped from your chair, like, there's...
Pack light.
Yeah.
Don't bring cards you don't need.
And that's the unfortunate reality of it. That just, like, don't make yourself a target.
Yeah.
We are dealing with highly liquid, untraceable assets that have a very easy to get monetary value.
And you can fit off a lot of them in a backpack. Like, even people with, like, I just brought 8 EDH decks. Okay, how much is each EDH deck worth? The average EDH deck is, like, about 500. So if you brought 8 decks, that's $4,000. And you don't think about your EDH decks as $4,000 because they weren't $4,000 to you. You're like, oh, I picked this up for, like, $3. Now it's 10. This got reprinted. I bought a precon and all the cards went up. And you're just like, oh, I just traded for this. And you don't realize that, like, you got $4 or $5,000 in there, and until you have to replace everything.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, this is way more expensive than it was when I bought it. Now I don't have the money to replace nearly as many of those cards as I just took for granted. Be safe.
You know what else went up a lot in price and people have taken for granted is the price of Sorin Imperious Bloodlord. That card is a core set 2020 All-Star from, that's right, 5 years ago.
Yep.
And it has been a casual all-star for a very long time. I sold many on TCG for a while just because it was a one of in a vampire commander deck, and people wanted to slam their Edgar Markov after it got bounced to their hand, or play a stupid 7-drop bulk rare. But now,
Or maybe they just want to buy a card because it says Soren on it.
That is true, Jason. A lot of people do buy cards.
A lot of people.
Yeah. Because they're just
got away with
Soren.
what I got away with. Good point.
And now it is seeing play at the top tables of Pioneer, and it is being used to slam 6-drops into play on turn 3 like God intended.
Let's talk about that, because Soren Imperious Warlords has more history in Pioneer than that. Put some f***ing respect on his name. 2019.
Tell us more about the war, Grandma.
The year is 2019. I purchased from a fine Australian gentleman 4 Champs Mutavaults because of how good the Vampires deck is in Pioneer. Soren Imperious Warlord was putting in Champion of Dusk at the time, which is a 5-mana 4/4 ETB, draw a card, and lose life for each vampire you control. He was putting counters on Gifted Aetherborns. Soren is an incredibly strong planeswalker. He's 3 mana, he has 2 pluses and a minus that, like, if you're playing the right cards in your deck, wins the game, basically. All it took was one really, really busted vampire to get printed, and for 12 of the world's greatest Magic players to get together and realize that it's good.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Bloodtithe Harvester is so much better than Gifted Aetherborn, it's not even funny.
And Gifted Aetherborn is fine.
Yeah. Harvester is like the best 2-drop in Pioneer.
2-drop. I'm still of them. I'm like, you know what? You know what's a good 2-drop? Black Knight. It was a 2/2, had a couple of good abilities. What a busted card. And now,
How old-fashioned of you.
yeah.
Tell me about
But
the war,
I
Grandpa.
can't get out of that mode. I'm like, Urg Raiders is good. That's real good for 2 mana. It's not even 2 black.
I still see the, the Cold Snap Black Knight, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that card's sick.
Oh, Knight of Stromgold, I think.
Yeah.
Pump Knight,
Way
baby.
got a lot of black mana symbols in the rule stacks.
Stromgold Crusader, maybe? Yeah, the Pro Tour happened, and Seth Manfield won with Red Black Vampires playing Soren and Vein Ripper, which is now another card for Murders of Call of Manor that's like $25. A card that I was keyed in on for different reasons before the event.
The card rips.
If you read the text in that card, it's just like a double Blood Artist that also is hard to kill. Like, what?
I think it flies.
It flies also. It also has Ward Sacrifice a Creature.
Yeah, it's way underplayed in EDH currently.
Funny enough, someone posted on Twitter today a card from Oath of the Gatewatch that in Pioneer can kill it for 2 mana cleanly, and it's called Tears of Valakut, which is a red and a colorless, uncounterable, deal 5 damage to target creature with flying. So you just like don't pay the ward cost and the Vein Ripper dies. Kind of
It
sweet.
is very niche, and I love it.
I mean, that's sort of the cool thing when there's a breakout deck is like people have to find the weird uncommons that no one remembers to deal with it.
And then we charge.
If those exist, it's great when those exist.
Right.
And then we charge $4 for them in the event and get Cold Scalpers.
Well, you can't win every fight, but you can win the fight against Vein Ripper if you have your Tears of Valakut.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to touch on before we jump into pick of the week. We have some Assassin's Creed spoilers that I just want to touch on one part of it.
Leonardo da Vinci?
People are very mad about Da Vinci and Cleopatra, and every person who is very wrong and dumb also. People are like, these don't feel like Magic cards, and I don't know how to tell you this, but Cleopatra and Leonardo da Vinci feel like more like Magic cards than any other card they spoiled for Assassin's Creed. The first Magic expansion had an Ali from Cairo and Sinbad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna
And
say.
Sinbad was bad.
The fact that they print like a Greek serialized Cleopatra is so cool. I'm sorry, like that's just very cool to me.
I agree.
An Italian serialized Da Vinci is like, let's f***ing go, bud. Are we gonna get like? We might actually get like an Arabic Magic card or something. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I am here for Assassin Tribal. My pick.
You can, if you're mad about Universes Beyond, you just want to be mad because every time a new set comes out, you're gonna point at it and be like, "Ah, this is what I'm fucking talking about." Who cares?
I feel like we have done that to death too. We are waiting for people to get mad about being mad so that we can be mad at them, and it's fine. Everything's fine.
I
But
sold.
this is like the coolest thing they've done with Universes Beyond. Is literally this.
No.
Lord of the Rings is
Fallout.
cooler, but you know,
I've never seen an I've never
Fallout's
played
the
an
best.
Assassin's Creed
I'm
game.
sorry.
me either.
I've never played an Assassin's Creed game. I have watched my brother play through some of them, and I giggled when I saw the haystack card. And that's fine.
It's dumb.
I don't care about Assassin's Creed at all. I do think Da Vinci being a magic is the dopest possible, though.
It's pronounced Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Is there going to be a Da Vinci Code card? Is there going to be a Da Vinci Code card?
Can we get a Tom Hanks card? Tom Hanks with his like flock of seagulls do.
APPLE. Apple.
Just, I can't believe I like that book. I can't believe I read Angels and Demons after. I read 2 of those books, man. I'm an idiot.
What's the John Oliver quote? My dad told me that book was good. Everyone's dad did.
It's true. That's a very dad story. You probably read it now, Jason. You'd love it.
Because I go back for all my dad stuff.
Yeah.
Just read it.
Listen,
read
if you've never thrown on a pair of cargo shorts, put on some white New Balances, and gone out and mowed the grass, I feel sorry for you.
It's just refreshing.
It is. And then you fire up the barbecue. Oh, let's make fun of him because he peaked at perfection.
Speaking of barbecuing things, I got a hot fire pick of the week.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, as you both know, I'm very high on Psychic Frog, and you know what card is really good with Psychic Frog probably? Is
Something with
Vengevine.
madness? Oh, Vengevine. Ooh.
That has madness, basically.
If by God's good graces, someone internally at WotC was smart enough to reprint the greatest magic card of all time, Basking Rootwalla, in Modern Horizons 3, there will be 8 Rootwallas. And Vengevine goes f***ing ape there. Not to mention, you could play Hollow One in that deck.
Yeah. Can you believe Vengevine was legal at the same time as Bloodbraid Elf and Standard, and not everybody played that stuff?
I mean,
Jason,
it was the best deck.
There were some other heavy hitters that.
Yeah.
Jace wasn't even. This is like before the rotation because Bloodbraid
No, I said
rotated pretty
Jason,
soon. Yeah, but the deck was like you Fauna Shaman for discarding a Vengevine for a Bloodbraid Elf, and all of your cards
Bloodbraid.
except for the one Basilisk Collar were creatures.
Uh-huh. And, oh, no, I had some non-Basilisk. I put 1 or 2 copies of Sovereign of Lost Alara and 1 copy of the Eldrazi Conscription.
Well, you can't cascade into those though. I mean, so everything less
Exactly,
than 3 mana.
yeah. It was great.
So you always trigger Vengevine off your Bloodbraid.
God, that deck was good. You would
So
just
good.
like Fauna Shaman to be the first one to slam down Linvala, and then you win.
Yep.
Linvala shut down half the decks in the format. It was just a race to get yours first.
And sometimes you would just like put a Basilisk Collar on a Cunning Spark Mage, and the game was over.
It was it Cunning Spark Mage or Vithian Stinger?
It was Cunning Spark Mage.
You're right.
Yeah.
At haste. My pick is going to slow down decks like that. You won't be able to attack with your 9 creatures. Ghostly Prison got its regular bi-yearly reprint checkup, I guess. Every other version is mid-4s or 5s. It got printed in Commander Karlov Manor, and now it is $250 again. You can get them cheap again. I have done this before, where I have picked a card at a regular reprint interval, and then after I pick it, a weird ghostly sword skewers through my head, and I become cursed for that card to be reprinted every 2 weeks after that for the rest of my life. This might happen.
I feel like that about my article series. Whenever time I'm like, why didn't this get a reprint? And then they get 4 reprints. I was like, it's unconscionable for black market to be $25. Okay, black market does not need to be 20. And they're like, what reprint black market 25 times? Got it.
You got it, boss.
Yeah. So Ghostly Prison is on the downtick, and I think as long as it continues its regular reprint cadence, if you are trying to save a few bucks. Get one now if you're looking to get one. If you are trying to make some bucks, and you can find a comfortably sized brick of them and cross your fingers, I think that is an okay place to park money if your average cost is around $250.
Yep.
It will get reprinted again, but probably not before it goes up way more than you paid for it. I bet you can arb these to a buy list before the next reprint.
That is the goal. Is wait until use the MTG Stocks Card Kingdom interest tracker. Yeah, we went the whole podcast with only sponsoring fake weird sponsor dropout TV. But now we're talking about MTG stocks very fluidly into the.
This episode has a sponsor. I just want to let Spencer know. Hey, Spencer, your boy walked up to me and handed me a beer, and I drank it. And I don't remember what he said to make fun of you about. He's like, Spencer likes, and it was something like some commander. Spencer, sorry. I forgot everything about, except that your friend also had me sign a VHS copy of the movie Speed. So,
Shit. Oh yeah,
that made my weekend for realsies. So, Spencer, your buddy gave me a beer, and I really appreciated it, and I drank it right away. And happy birthday. I think that's what it was. I think it was his birthday. So happy bar mitzvah, Spencer. You got some cool friends.
If he listens to this cast every day, as long as he's 13 or 14 or something, then
I think his name was. I hope his name was Spencer. It might have been Greg.
It's Spencer now. If it was Greg,
if you're
Jeff,
a person with a masculine sounding name who has a friend who listens to this podcast, that friend might have talked to Jason while Jason was criminally high.
I showed up. Okay, so it was a drug-free event or whatever, so I had to smuggle some drugs into the event in my tummy. And then I was given more when I got to the... So, listen, I forgot to write down what I was supposed to say. That's how high I was. I forgot. I was like, I better write this down. And then I forgot to do that. So...
Remember, kids, Jason Alt always says, take drugs from strangers. It's a good time.
Drugs from strangers. If someone says that they know me and like my podcast, they're not a stranger. I'll ingest anything they give me. Malort, let's do it.
Is that your pick of the week, Malort?
My pick of the week is
Malort.
Abandon your special diet you're supposed to be on for months and just go eat wherever you want.
Everyone
go to
gets a sin
Portillo's,
weekend, Jason.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a sin weekend.
It was a cheat weekend for realsies, so I ate like absolute garbage, and I've never felt better physically. And I think my special diet to make me feel better is the culprit. Eat more Portillo's. Your sandwiches should be wet. If you can't decide between a soup and a sandwich, just get a wet sandwich.
I've been thinking about that. More sandwiches need to be served with like an au jus situation.
Turkey with an au jus?
Sure. I recently had some leftover ramen broth that I just like dipped my sandwich in, and it was really good. Like some paitan broth or whatever, just like it was great. Soggy bread, weirdly very good.
Yeah, all sandwiches should be dipped.
Isn't that what bread was made to do? Is absorb
peanut butter and jelly gets dipped in
Right.
ramen. Grilled cheese gets dipped in tomato soup. Every sort of sandwich should have an accompanying dip soup. Yeah, it's an Italian club. You gotta dip that in minestrone, buddy. No, it's Italian wedding soup. Any Italian soup you can dip a Italian club in. Come on, let's not fight. Let's just get our sandwiches wet. Let's just have some
I'm trying to
wet
get my
Sammies.
sandwich wet, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what makes my sandwich wet? My pick of the week, which is, it's based on a green card, but it's better than the card upon which it is based on. So that's cool. I like Tendershoot Dryad. I think Tendershoot Dryad is a messed up Magic card because people who play one-on-one formats think, oh, on their turn, I make a Tendershoot guy. But listen, it says each upkeep, and each upkeep means 3 times in a turn cycle, plus your turn, which is a 4th. So if it's gonna be not your turn 3 times as often it is your turn, you should get some game actions. Buy Illustrious Wanderglyph. Currently, the extended art is worth less than the regular non-extended art, and I think if Illustrious Wanderglyph goes up from its current like $5-6, which it should if you look at the price of Tendershoot Dryad, I really think Illustrious Wanderglyph is it's in it's in Anointed Procession colors, or you play it in Selesnya and just like go absolutely bonkers with this. Wanderglyph is too good to be around $5, so if you can get the extended versions for cheaper than the non-extended versions, and you currently can, it would be a mistake not to. Illustrious Wanderglyph is the next Tendershoot Dryad. But it makes artifact creatures, and that is very important. So get them while they're hot. You don't agree, clearly. This sucks. I quit.
Picks of the week. I am typing.
You didn't say anything nice about my pick. We all complimented each other's picks.
After you skewered my incredible segue into the MTG stock sponsorship, so you know what? That's fine.
You can
adapt.
You can still do that. MTG
I had to look the card up.
It's
to be
a good
clear,
place to write for several months. I love it. You looked it up. It's a white Tendershoot Dryad, basically. But
I pulled it up, and it's exactly what you said. Yeah, card's good.
It's good, and it's.
You can play it and Tendershoot Dryad in your doubling season Anointed Procession deck.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of game actions you're taking.
In your Malamute, Kukutzil Malamute flanker deck or whatever. That's green-white. It's a callback.
That sounds awesome.
And this, Jason, is Improv. Yeah, my webcam is very blurry. I don't know what to do about that, but...
That's okay. It's only blurry to us, probably, maybe? I don't
know. No, it's blurry in OBS also.
That's okay.
Old blurry shit, that's what we call it.
True.
That's Improv, baby. Anytime I do anything, I'm going to say that's Improv for the rest of the day. I can't wait.
This is a good bit.
That on my family. Yeah.
I improv that.
You see that? You see that flip?
That was improv.
That was improv, baby. Totally unplanned.
To recap, you should go to mtgstocks.com, sign up for the premium, because then you can track the Card Kingdom interest and see when exactly you should sell that giant stack of Dragon Scale Boon (Ugin's Fate promo to Card Kingdom. You can track when you should sell your Ghostly Prisons to Card Kingdom, all of these other things, and then you can use that meager $48 store credit check, buy some other cards, sell those for $48 cash, and then subscribe to Dropout TV for a year. MCG Stocks, Patreon, and my beautiful shirt is from Coalesce Apparel and Design. I'm rocking the February model from last year. It's got Jason Braska on it. It says, "You complete me." Coalesce Apparel and Design is your #1 place to buy Magic shirts. I go to all these events. I see maybe 20 to 30% of the population in that room has a Coalesce shirt, so not all of those people can be making poor decisions just by statistical significance. Most of them are because they're playing competitive Magic, but in the case of them making correct decisions on apparel, they're doing all right. They're better in the choosing where to buy their things department than they are in the registering.
Go up a size from your normal on the hoodies probably, but the t-shirts are super high. They buy good quality blanks.
This is a medium.
Yeah.
It fits perfectly.
Yeah, the shirts are great. And the hoodies fit great too. They're nice and comfy, but just go up a size. And yeah, I mean, we wouldn't talk about Coalesce because we sell all of the stuff we sell is by accident. Because anyone who listens to this cast has bought their Coalesce by now, or they're not gonna. But people continue to this day to buy the Brainstorm stuff just because it's brainstormy. And you could be someone that goes in there and be like, actually, I'm buying this on purpose. They like to hear that too. So go to Coalesce Apparel. They'll send you a booster pack. They'll send you some stuff with our logo on it. And isn't that what you want? Don't you want me coming up to you at an event and being like, hey, nice shirt? And you're either like, oh, you Jason? Or, thanks, idiot. My mom's a brain surgeon or whatever. So buy Coalesce Apparel. You don't have to buy our stuff. You can buy all kind of different brands.
Every once in a while, I give somebody an eyebrow raise while I'm in the middle of a buy as they walk by with the shirt on. Do I know if I'm making a meaningful human connection? I don't, but I hope that I at least creep them out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, if you go to Coalesce Apparel and Design and you go ahead and buy yourself a Jim Davis t-shirt, you too can have a disgraced pro beg for you to concede to him in the last round of a pro tour. That's all, folks. We'll see you next week. We've been Brainstorm Brewery. Thanks for... That's my time!